Now? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Crossroads South Winter Concert. My name is Mr. Gray, and I am so happy you guys could join us. First off, who you see in front of you now is the Crossroads Singers, and believe it or not, this year, the Crossroads Singers make up nothing but sixth graders. So the fact that right now in front of you, you have 88 sixth graders singing for you can kind of give you a little hint at what's to come. This is my second year here at Crossroads South. It is the greatest thing that I've ever had. I love it so much, and we're gonna sing two numbers for you today. The first piece today is called Angel Fly, and it's a piece that is mixed with both English and Latin, and it is called, and the only two English words you will hear are Angel Fly. And the piece, if you listen to the notes themselves, they're supposed to mimic the fluttering of wings, as in an angel. The other language you're gonna hear today is Latin, and I want you to pay attention closely to how it sounds, what we call dissonance, as we learn in 7th grade music theory. The dissonance, or the closeness of the harmonies, is supposed to represent the fluttering of wings. So our first piece is Angel Fly. The second piece that you're gonna hear is a classic mixed within a classic, two songs together, In the Bleak Midwinter, combined with Lo, How a Rose Are Blooming, two very traditional Christmas winter carols. Guys, I forgot to thank our two accompanists, our new choir director, Miss Noelle McCormick, and one of our 8th grade concert choir singers, Miss Priscilla Twang. So the next choir you're about to hear is the concert choir, which is predominantly made out of 7th and 8th grade. As our Crossroads South members come in as sixth graders, when we screen them as 5th graders, they come and sing for both me and Miss McCormick. And we ask them to do a number of things to hear their voices. As 5th graders, they enter into Crossroads South as Crossroads singers, where we learn our basic sight singing, our basic rhythms, how to read music, and our basic 2 to 3 part harmonies. From there, at the end of this year, the students that just sang in front of you will basically be re-screened, as we call it. They all ask if it's an audition. It's not. And we basically hear their progression. And if they've progressed through and they're able to sing their major scales, their minor scale, if they're able to kind of match pitch and develop themselves, they move up to the next level, which you're about to hear, which is concert choir. This year's concert choir is the single largest concert choir that I've had. Now, I said single largest in my 2 years, but it is a very large choir this year. It's made up of almost 190 students. This is the largest choir I've ever had the privilege of working with. But most importantly, we've been so lucky in South Brunswick in general to have a brand new addition to the choral world. Those of you who have some older students, or maybe were here last week, we had the new addition of a new high school choral director, Mr. Aranzala. This year, we were lucky enough to be able to add on a 3rd middle school choral position, and her name is Mrs. McCormick. Mrs. McCormick has the world's hardest job, because when I got here last year, I think I said that, I thought I had it, because I had to learn 430 kids' names and teach way too many students choir. She has to do that in 2 schools. So Mrs. McCormick teaches here, both at South, and she also teaches at North. She divides her weeks between the 2 schools, where she teaches between the 2 schools. She teaches 2.5 choirs. She teaches every single class period. So I thought I had a rough learning about 300 or 400 kids. She has to learn about 700 to 750 kids' names. I am so excited that she's been on with us. She has taught our students so many incredible things. This year she's been in charge of the concert choir here at South and the concert choir over at North. And so she is going to bring on the concert choir for us now. And again, there's about to be about 185 students about to be on stage for us. So this is Crossroads South Concert Choir, as soon as they get settled.
Evening. So as Mr. Gray introduced, my name is Noelle Zucchero, and I am the new choir teacher here. I teach at both South and North. I alternate between both schools. So I have the pleasure of working with the concert choir at both schools, and it has been such a pleasure to be here. As you can see, these things take time because we're very blessed to have a lot of students in choir. It's a wonderful, wonderful problem that it takes a long time to get on the risers. We're very lucky. So we have two songs for you today, Rhythm of Life, which is from Sweet Charity, and Winter Wonderland, of course, a holiday classic. And we are so fortunate that there is so much music in and out of school in South Brunswick that we have student accompanists playing. We have Pablo playing for Rhythm of Life, and then David playing for Winter Wonderland, as well as actually student percussionists as well. So I will announce these, that in Rhythm of Life, we have Jobali Curavella. Give us a wave, Jobli. She'll be playing xylophone in Rhythm of Life. And then we have Shivani Patel, who over here in the soprano section, she'll be playing the sleigh bells, the very, very important part of Winter Wonderland. So I can't wait for you to hear. The students have been working so hard, and they're a pleasure to work with, so I can't wait for you to hear them. Enjoy. Can we have one more round of applause for our student accompanists and percussion, please? Not an easy thing to do, and they did such a great job. They're such great musicians. We're so lucky. So next up, we have our vocal ensemble. So concert choir, if you are in only a concert choir, we're going to
So the best part of having such a large choir is that directors have to fill time. So what I figure I'd do as concert choir is coming off and vocal ensemble is getting ready, I would probably tell you about our last two songs for vocal ensemble. Our first song is called Look Up, Look Down. And if you can believe it or not, as a grad student, I can't remember, 4 years ago, as a grad student, I actually performed this. And I loved it so much, and I thought it was accessible to our vocal ensemble students. For those of you who aren't aware, vocal ensemble is a select group from concert choir. At the beginning of the year, we hold auditions for vocal ensemble. Any 7th grader in concert choir and 8th grader in concert choir is able to audition. And it is basically, our requirements are that you're just an above and beyond musician. It's some scales, some sight reading, vocal development, vocal range that we look for. But we do advanced work. I love to challenge these students with works that I've done as high school and undergrad and a graduate student, and they really come up to the task. This first piece that you're gonna hear from them is going to be, it's called Look Up, Look Down. And I talked to them a lot this year, vocal ensemble and concert choir, about how music is so special to me, and I think it's special to a lot of people on how it can drive a story. And this is one of the examples where music can really drive a story. And I hope that you guys are able to hear them enough where they can tell you this amazing story. You're gonna hear a lot of repetition, and there's a lot of symbolism between it. Look Up, Look Down is a story that involves some lovers and a train. And that's all I'm gonna kind of tell you for now. The second piece that you're gonna hear is personally one of my favorites and one that is very close to my heart, a traditional Christmas carol. And vocal ensemble for me, I love because it was my equivalent as a middle school student. It was the reason why I am here. I'm lucky enough to be here where I am today, because being a choir nerd that I am, having an area to really challenge myself and express myself is kind of why I'm here and why I hope I can convince these lovely students to keep singing, and all of those in the back. So our last two songs for the evening by the Crossroads South Vocal Ensemble is Look Up, Look Down, and then the traditional version of Silent Night. I have just a couple quick thank yous before we wrap up. First off, thank you guys all so much for sharing your neighbors, your friends, your children with us as we do our long rehearsals and our long school days. But most importantly, a couple people that are here with us tonight that have been so much help. Two of our paraprofessionals that have helped us tonight, that have been with us during HAP rehearsals, have helped students get to and from our classrooms. First off, Miss Phyllis Christensen and Miss Jody Noonan have been such a huge help for us. If you would please come forward to accept a little bit of a holiday gift. And then finally, just as a nice welcome, who has worked so hard for us and has been such a great exception, Mrs. McCormick has done such an amazing work with us. And so I just thought we would welcome her. So if the three of you guys could come down to accept a small little token of our gratitude for us for this winter concert, that would be great. Thank you guys all so much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out to our final winter concert. I had the students run back up. Thank you so much for doing that. I'd like to give a huge round of applause first to our student accompanists. They were phenomenal. We have a very talented bunch of students here that play multiple instruments and are excellent in school, and they're a pleasure to have, so it was really lovely to have them. And let's hear a huge round of applause for all of our vocalists tonight. Our Crossroads singers, our concert choir, and our vocal ensemble up here. Before I give thank you to our music teachers, I'd also like to thank the high school for being our host. We have Mr. Lalamia that is up in the booth making sure that everything is lit and sounds good. We'd like to thank all of the high school staff. I'd like to thank our assistant principal, Mr. Kimmick, who's up in the back. Again, all of the paraprofessionals who supported, and all of our teachers. There's a lot of teachers here tonight that came to see your kids, and that's just a wonderful testament to how much they care about your children. So I'd like to thank all of them. And of course, we'd like to thank, I know Mr. Gray has mentioned a lot of people that he'd like to thank, and Mrs. McCormick was one of them, but we'd also like to thank Mr. Gray. It is a chilly night out there. For those of you who were checking your email today, this is Spirit Week for us. Do you know what tomorrow is? They're most excited about Vine Day. If you don't know what Vine Day is, ask your kids. They're very excited about that. We will have that tomorrow. But most of all, I really wish all of you a fantastic winter break. Thank you for your support as parents and community, and have a very safe trip home. Choir kids will be, all the students will come out towards the foyer. They'll all come out that way, and you can meet your students out there. Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful night.